I'm Deborah Lamata, and this is Woman Entrepreneur Spotlight. I started this podcast because I believe that every woman entrepreneur has a story to tell, and by sharing that story, she could be helping the next woman entrepreneur looking for some guidance. So tune in, get comfortable, and enjoy the series. Hi, I'm Deborah Lamata, and this is Woman Entrepreneur Spotlight. Today I have a very special guest, Naomi Gerp, owner of Tie Atticus. How are you, Naomi?
I'm terrific. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. There are two questions that I like to ask to get us warmed up. And the first one is, if you could live or visit anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Definitely somewhere tropical. I lived many years in Hawaii, and I've traveled frequently to Mexico, Isla Mujeres, and Playa del Carmen. So either one of those would definitely work.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love asking this question because I keep finding places to put on my bucket list.
Well, put Hawaii on there.
Yes. Well, I have to say I have been to Hawaii.
Oh,
great. It is absolutely beautiful, and everything they say it is, it is. So what advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
I would tell my 16-year-old self, do not take 3 years of cosmetology. I took it as a vo-tech course in high school, and it just wasn't in the stars for me at all. And I would probably say focus more on biology and psychology. That would lead me more towards where I am today, animal saving, behaviorist, that kind of thing. Or I would go right into teaching.
Oh, wow.
No cosmetology.
No cosmetology. It's amazing what we learn along the way. So change your attitude as often as you like. Tell us about Atticus and Tie Atticus and how it started.
Well, I've always been very creative. I always love marketing and promoting. And with the business, it allowed me to be able to create, market, make a little money, and be able to give back to rescue. And Atticus is a dog that I fostered, who I eventually failed and adopted. When I fostered him, my sister, who has a cat who wears a bow tie every day, sent us one as a gift. He was wearing it, and I was walking him, and I literally blurted out, "You look so cute in that bow tie, Atticus." And I don't know, that was it. It just became the business name, became the business motto. Because of Atticus, from that I have attitudes, change your attitude. It's Addie just fits in everywhere. So it's perfect.
It does. And your bow ties are beautiful. And so you hand make the bow ties yourself.
I do.
Did you sew prior to doing the bow ties?
Actually, there's no sewing involved.
Oh, no.
No, that is probably one of the unique part about my product is everybody thinks they're sewn, and they're not. It is all strictly done with non-toxic hot glue.
Wow.
Yes, I find that it gives the product a little more sturdiness to it. Okay. It's just a very rigid product, and people comment on that. I did take sewing lessons, another thing that I'm really not good at. So I'm just sticking with the hot glue for now.
Oh, wow. And so I know on your website you have different colors and different patterns. So if somebody doesn't see something on the website, can they reach out to you and say, can you make it in fuchsia? And
absolutely. I have done many special orders over the course of the years, from specific bow ties to layered bow ties to bow ties with more pleats to collars that have flowers on them for weddings. I just did a wedding last year in the wedding party was 2 ducks, 8 chickens, and a dog. So I did all matching terracotta bow ties for the bride's requests. Absolutely. Special orders are always welcome.
Oh, that's awesome. That is really awesome. And like you just said, their bow ties aren't just for the puppies. They're for the cats or the ducks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've put them on bearded dragons, rabbits, horses, chinchillas, guinea pigs, hedgehogs.
Oh my gosh. So why did you want to start Tie Atticus?
I was looking for something to do part-time, and I was looking for a part-time job, and I was working at a radio station at the time. And so my hours, it was very difficult to find something that I could work part-time that would allow me to work full-time at the radio. When I discovered that Atticus looked so cute in a bow tie, I thought, well, this is an opportunity for me to try something to maybe make a little extra money, which is all I was looking to do anyway, and be able to create, which I love, and also to give back. Also, that's probably the top of my my reason for doing any of this is I want to be able to give back.
Right. And I see on your website, each month you choose a rescue to give back to. How do you go about choosing the rescue for the month?
Rescues reach out to me.
Okay.
Many of the months I have set rescues now. Originally it was choosing a different rescue every month. And then what has happened is I've developed special relationships with certain rescues.
Oh, nice.
And so those rescues have particular months every year. For example, October, which is Pitbull Awareness Month, is always Stand Up for Pits. They run the whole month of October, every October.
Wow.
January is United Coalition for Animals Network out of Cincinnati, Ohio, for a young rescuer who lost his life at a young age. And we donate back to them every single January in his memory and honor. Those will never change. And so I have the few other months that are in between where I get to choose some other rescue, or believe it or not, many reach out to me. So I don't want to have all 12 months set because I do want to be able to rotate other rescues in. But we are always willing to help any rescue anywhere, anytime, with donations of products, for raffles, gift certificates, however we can help, we will do that.
And I see this month's rescue is La Mancha out of Pennsylvania. And they're a 45-acre facility for rescuing all types of animals.
Yes, they are. Actually, one of their volunteers, Maria Dixon, is a customer and friend, and she had bought a few bow ties a couple years back when we started talking about her volunteering for La Mancha, and that is exactly how it started. I said, "Well, let's pick a month," and it was almost a year later that the month was available. Wow. And we did it, and it's finally here. It's finally here. And that's how it works. I mean, the rescue we had last month, Watermelon Ranch, they were almost a year and a half waiting.
Wow. Oh, that's so awesome. I can't express enough the rescues and the work that goes in with the volunteers and the sanctuaries and wherever, the fosters. It's just incredible. And it takes money. There's transportation, there's feed, there's vet bills. There is so much that needs to be covered that, thank you for doing what you do with Tie Atticus. So La Mancha is the rescue for this month. What fundraisers do you do for the month?
So every month, probably about a year ago, no, maybe 2 years ago, I started thinking, how can I incorporate working with other small businesses to help raise funds in addition to what I was raising? Right. So I created the Small Business Give Back. So once a month, what I do is I partner with another small business and we create a social media event. And basically whatever is sold through their small business, they donate a portion back to the rescue of the month.
Oh, that's great.
I would say on average, that's at least an additional $100.
Wow.
And it helps get business for the small business owner that's helping, partnering with, and then it also helps me and it also helps the rescue. So I do that. Usually I do that about the third week of every month. And then the fourth week of every month, or the last week, I should say, the last week of every month, I run a pop-up raffle.
Right.
And what I do is I have a raffle prize and always a $20 gift certificate or Visa gift card. And I sell 30 tickets at $5. So even if I didn't sell one single bow tie during the course of the month, they would at least get $150.
That's great.
So, and 100% of that goes directly to the rescue, which I usually make the donations around the 15th of the following month when I close my books.
Right.
I can say to date that we've probably donated over $40,000 in cash.
Wow. That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Kudos to you. And so just talking about the business side of Tie Atticus, did you start out with a business plan? Do you use a business plan?
Well, so when I decided to start the business, the first thing I did was look into getting a business license, which was in the state of Delaware was very easy. I did it all online. You know, I renew every year online, and then basically I really didn't have a plan because, I came home and I made 30 bow ties and I thought, how do I get these out there?
Okay.
And I used to attend a dog event in Northeast for House of Hope. That year, I went ahead and applied for a vendor application.
Oh, wow.
And I got in there and I sold 21 bow ties.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
Well, and I thought, okay, this might work. This might work. And so basically, I never really followed a plan per se, as much as I just started to create product, look for events, book the events.
Right.
Now, and then what happened from there was people were like, oh, do you have a website? Oh, are you on Etsy? Where can I buy your bow ties? And I was like, oh boy, I guess I better figure something out there. And that was probably the most challenging part, was getting that website going. I'm not on Etsy. I have my own storefront at bowtieatticus.org. It was probably a 3-day, very stressful process because I'm learning. I made the whole, I developed the site myself. I went through Wix. I could have hired somebody. Right. And in retrospect, I will get there. Like I will eventually have somebody that will run the website, maintain the website as I grow. Nice. And, but learning, getting the product on the site, getting the pricing, getting the sizes, getting the different pages.
Right.
And honestly, that was probably the most challenging part of starting a new business. I just recently got my LLC, which,
oh, nice.
Yeah. My brother's been hounding me for years to do that. And I finally did it. So I think that all of this is just steps in the right direction to being where I want.
Would you, knowing what you know now, would you have started with a business plan? Would you put something down on paper?
Yes. I am in the process of trying to create an online store. Mm-hmm. So my dream would be to have a physical retail shop, not just bow ties, but a dog pet accessory business, but unique, that kind of thing. That would be my main goal. So as I work towards developing an online store, yes, I am developing a business plan because I will need financial backing. I will need the means and the resources to be able to launch an actual business outside of the creative side of it. Because I imagine what will happen is at some point, I will not be making the bow ties. Somebody else will be making the bow ties.
Right. And you, like you had mentioned, using the business plan, if you go for a small business loan, they definitely look for your business plan.
And I think, that, right. But originally, as I said, I started with a glue gun. This is my 8th year. So.
Wow. I didn't realize. Well, good. Well, that is awesome. It's just such a great idea that you have and all the time and effort that you put into this rescue. And I love Atticus's story. And then you partner with, like you said, partner with small businesses. Mm-hmm. I know that you partnered up with Fiona and Felix, also rescue pups. Out of Pits, is it called? Is that their?
They are, yes. They are from Out of the Pits. Yes.
Okay. And Fiona has a book, which is called Fiona the Fabulous Goes Home by Bethany Engel. It is Angel. Okay. Thank you. So,
and she is an angel.
Is she? Oh my gosh. Well, as I was sharing before we started the interview, I had seen a bow tie, a Atticus bow tie on my childhood best friend, Karen, her little pup, Darla Jean. Mm-hmm. And they were also talking about Fiona the Fabulous Goes Home. So I reached out to Karen this morning. It's like, I'm doing an interview this morning. How are you connected with bow ties and Atticus and Fiona?
That's great.
Isn't that cute? And then and Darla
now the partnership with Bethany and Fiona and Felix is continued. We together, so for every book that is purchased, there's a donation made to Out of the Pits. Oh. For every Fiona or Felix bow tie that is purchased, there's also a donation made to Out of the Pits, as well as whatever the rescue is of the month.
Wow.
And what I do is I have a $2 bow tie store. So every bow tie that's purchased through that particular link, $2 is donated.
Wow.
So Fiona and Felix are always in that group, so we're going into our 4th month of that partnership. And it's great because people, you're not helping just one rescue, you're helping 2 rescues.
Right. Absolutely.
And when you look at the cost of the purchases, you can't really go wrong. I mean, everything is under $25.
Absolutely. Right. And so kind of tied in with Fiona and Felix and Out of the Pits, you also talk about on your webpage, BSL, which is breed specific legislature.
Correct.
Breeds do not predict behavior. Any dog can bite. It's really as what you have on your website, turning it around. It's really the owners that need the legislature, not the dogs,
correct.
right?
Correct. Well,
can you talk a little bit about that?
And education is key. Unfortunately, ignorance is what drives BSL. One size doesn't fit all. And it's important. I mean, we had BSL here in Wilmington 6 years ago. Gaudy's law went into effect. So the legislative laws were lifted through a lot of help with Best Friends Animal Sanctuary. They came out, they sent their lawyers, and it gets to a point where a pit bull, a dog, a cat, they're a family member. Yeah. And for somebody to say, your dog looks like a pit bull, it needs to be in a muzzle, it needs to be leashed. Oh, don't bring that dog near me. Oh, that dog is vicious. It is all ignorance. It is, Atticus is American Staffordshire, Labrador, and Boston Terrier.
Right.
And people will say to me, oh, is that a pit bull? And I'd be like, he's a dog.
Exactly.
He's a dog.
Exactly.
He's a great dog. And he's a bow tie wearing dog. So you know what? He's a great dog. But there are many ways to support and advocate against breed specific legislation. My favorite go-to, of course, is Stand Up for Pits.
Right.
You can learn so much from their site, their events, what they do, supporting spay and neuter. Breed specific legislation doesn't just affect the animal. It affects their families. It affects the towns. It affects the people in the town. I mean, it's just not good for anyone anywhere. It doesn't do anything. It wastes a lot of money.
Right. Exactly.
It wastes a lot of money when you could use that money to train and teach and allow these dogs who are so indiscriminately, beaten down.
Exactly.
You can help educate to give them a better life. They deserve it. That's the number one breed in shelters anywhere.
Exactly. Oh, absolutely. And like you said, what about the legislature about against the dog fighting? And like you mentioned, the neutering needs to be done. And at the top, pet owner education.
I think that is really key. I think some of my greatest joys is I have a senior couple who live around the corner from me, and they have a pitty named Zoe. She's about 9 years old. Aww. And when I see that, I think, here they are. They're probably in their 70s, and here they are loving a pit bull, no issues, not and so many other people are like, oh, I can't, a senior definitely can't have a pit bull. I'm just like, come on,
oh my gosh,
anybody can.
Anybody can.
I happen to have any dog.
Absolutely, and I happen to be one of my pit bull. Way back when he was the runt of the litter. He was black and white. He was adorable. Mm-hmm. He was loving. And my oldest daughter, Sarah, would hold on to him, and he would let her hold on to him. And she kind of used him as her walker to learn to walk.
Oh,
yeah.
Great. Wow. That's great.
Yeah, he was just such a loving dog. And then when my second daughter came along too, he had
they really do get a bad rap.
Oh, they do. Absolutely. So yeah, I have fond memories of Duke. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So what motivates you then I probably can answer that, but what motivates you to do what you do?
I think that just being able to get out there and be part of the rescue world. Every day people are tagging me or, sending me emails, and I immediately am drawn to what can I do to help this situation. That's my motivation. That is absolutely my motivation. I think that, people say, well, you're never going to get rich. And I'm like, you never know. But you know what?
Never say never.
Right. But I am rich. I'm rich in so many ways.
There you go.
Especially when there's a dog or an animal that's in extreme danger of being euthanized or worse in a situation of dog fighting and you can be a voice, whether it's an email, a phone call, whether it's a fundraiser, whether it's sharing, all of that, people don't understand. All of that helps.
Absolutely. And so doing Tie Atticus, are you still doing it part-time or is it becoming more full-time?
Well, I do work full-time. I work Monday through Friday. I also am an admin for a group that takes care of about 35 feral cats,
wow.
Newcastle Community Cats. I admin for about 6 volunteers.
Okay.
And then I have Tie Atticus. I pretty much work Tie Atticus every day.
Wow.
It's the orders that I receive. It's funny because when I first started, my turnaround was 1 to 3 days.
Right.
Then it was 5 days. Then it was 7 days. Then it was 7 to 10 days. And I mean, that's how you grow. And
absolutely. And that's how you know you're growing.
Well, and now it's 10 to 15 days.
Wow.
And people, and I usually don't have an issue with it. I try to do it less than that, but having that little breathing room, it gives me the time because I do make every single bow tie to order. Wow. I don't have stock on hand. Okay. So when you place an order, do know that I will be making your bow tie.
Wow. That is awesome. And so then have you found a balance between your full-time work and Tie Atticus? Do you block time out on the calendar or is it as you need to do it?
Basically, what I try to do is if I can be working on Tie Atticus by 9:00 at night, I'm good. Sometimes if I can get to it earlier, that's good, but that doesn't always work out. With everything else going on in between, I do have a really good balance. I just started the job that I have, my full-time job, in November. I'm getting used to the 5:30. And I know that doesn't seem like, but still that half an hour where I used to be able to be somewhere by 5:30. Now it's like, well, I can be there by 6. So it makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Absolutely. So what has been one of the most valuable lessons you have learned from starting your own business?
My valuable lesson has been, I think for me, the lesson has been just to not stop. That if you feel something and you want to do it, the only way to have that become a reality is to try it. Okay. It's better to try and fail than to not try at all. I think I've learned that the world is filled mostly with good people. I think that in spite of all of the bad things that we see in the world of animal cruelty, I believe that there's triple the amount of good people that there are the bad people. And this is why it works. This is why rescue works, because people really do want to help.
Absolutely.
And education is the key.
Absolutely. No, I agree. If people want to reach out to you, do you have information on volunteering or where perhaps somebody could go to help a rescue?
You can go to any of my Instagram, my Facebook. I'm always tagging rescues, stories. I use the Instagram stories. Anybody that is following me, you can follow them and they're linked to rescues. Awesome. I find when somebody reaches out to me, I'll give you a perfect example. I had somebody reach out to me the other day and she said, I lost my job. I have four rescues and I don't have the money to buy food. And when I looked up food pantry, Tie Atticus came up.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I thought, that's interesting. So I immediately wrote it back and I said, I apologize. I am not a food pantry. Here's some resources if you are in Delaware. Well, it turns out she's not in Delaware. She's in Bowie, Maryland.
Okay.
Well, I just had a rescue, Love Paws. That was my give back in March.
Oh, wow.
So I referred her right to them. They have a full food pantry.
Oh, wow.
So, I think that through media, through contacts, through my contacts with people that they know, you can always find something to do in the rescue world. I tell everybody who says, I'm so bored with my life, I tell them straight up, go volunteer.
Absolutely. 100%.
Changed my life forever.
Yes.
I don't care if it's 1 week a week and you pet a kitten. Do it.
That's right.
You won't regret it.
Absolutely. And we need more people to do that. And it doesn't have to be an all day affair. Like you said, stop in, take an hour, take a lunchtime. It's so important. If you could give advice to another woman entrepreneur just starting their business, what would it be?
I would say that do your research on all of your options. Design that business plan, which is something that I didn't do originally. But really, put it down on paper. And it doesn't matter how it falls. Just put it all down there and organize it. Look into getting your, find out what your state has for you as a startup. Right. Get your license. Yes. Look into whether or not an LLC is something that's appropriate for you. Yep. Now, I did my own. I know that there are groups out there that you can use, yes. To do that. But I did my own through the state. I think that, and also another thing that's important is a name for your business. I think that is key. And I think something creative, like Tie Atticus.
Absolutely.
And from that, I'm able to spin, change your attitude, pick your attitude, Right? I launched New Bow Ties, New Attitudes Day, on Tuesdays, I launched them. So I think that those are the things, look into the course of actions that you would need to take to promote that business. For me, for example, it was finding events. I do very well at events. Nice. And I've learned I don't really do arts and crafts events anymore. I used to do that all the time. People would be like, oh, you'd be great at a craft show. But I really don't do great at a craft show. I do great at a show where there's dogs, where dogs are, I just do better at the events. And I think that developing your website, this is the one piece of advice I would give is not one, but one of the pieces of advice I would give is if you're in a situation where you can hire somebody to create, drive, and host and manage your website, do that. It will clearly give you the time that you need to focus on the other aspects. Not that your website isn't critical, but having somebody that knows what they're doing. Like every yes. time I launch something, I'm like, that's what you want. I really think that that's important. That today, the visual is the key in a business when it comes to website. And if yes. you can hire somebody to develop it, and they don't have to be expensive. No, there's lots of groups. There's lots of women-owned groups out there.
That's right. Absolutely. That's what this is all about. And one of my goals with this podcast is to connect other women entrepreneurs and, in all stages of their business. And so I would love to add your name to that list if that's okay with you for somebody to reach out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love that.
Well, thank you so much. Naomi, I could talk to you for at least another hour.
I could talk to you too.
Thank you. I am working on launching a talk show on the radio, and I would love and will have you as a guest because I think this is so important. There are just so many pets. They're not even a pet because they're lost. They need to be rescued out there that people need to be aware of and to get involved. And so it's my goal. We're going to talk again.
I would love that. I would love that very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. It was so nice having you today. I can't wait to share our interview with everybody out there. And one last time, why don't you tell everybody where they can get in contact with you?
Okay. You can find me on the web at bowtieatticus.org. Email is info@bowtieatticus.org. And of course, we are on Facebook and Instagram as Tie Atticus.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, say hello to Atticus for me.
I will.
You're welcome. I look forward to watching and getting involved with you and speaking with you again. So enjoy the rest of your day, Naomi. Thank you for listening to Woman Entrepreneur Spotlight. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. For updates on my next interview, follow me on Facebook at Woman Entrepreneur Spotlight. Until then, keep being awesome.